Well, Hellblade 2 runs at 30 frames per second, Scott, with no graphical options on Xbox. The main designation, the main destination, the main console for the game will not run past 30 frames per second. Apparently, the PC version of Hellblade 2 will give players more customization, says Logan Moore over comicbook.com. It seems that those who play Senua's Saga Hellblade 2 won't have many options at their disposal when it comes to graphical and performance settings. Generally speaking, most games in this console generation have featured 2 graphical options at a minimum. One of these settings tend to prioritize performance, while the other focuses on prioritizing the game's visuals and fidelity. For Hellblade 2 though, developer Ninja Theory seems to only be giving players one selection on Xbox Series X and S, which could prove to be quite divisive. According to GamePro, Hellblade 2 will only run at 30 frames per second. This is true across the Xbox Series X and S consoles, which is something that isn't often seen. Typically, the Xbox Series X version of various games can perform at a higher rate without sacrificing fidelity, which isn't something that the lessened power of the Series S can do. The only version of Hellblade 2 that will be able to run beyond 30 frames per second will be the PC edition. However, it's assumed that those who go above 30 frames per second threshold will need to have a very high, powerful PC rig, Scott. Generally speaking, this news regarding the graphical options for Hellblade 2 isn't all that shocking. This is primarily because since Hellblade 2 was first announced, Ninja Theory has made clear that it's looking to push the boundaries of video game visuals with its latest release. To that end, hearing that the studio is focusing on fidelity rather than performance is something that has been made clear time and time again in all of the marketing for the Hellblade sequel. Hopefully, these visuals will prove to be impressive enough that even those who tend to prefer playing on performance mode won't feel like the experience has been hindered. Scott, Hellblade 2 will release on May 21st on Xbox Series XS and PC. What are your thoughts on this? Which way do you go, Scott? Do you go? I feel like we talked about this a lot, actually, especially as of late.
Yeah.
Right? Is it performance? Is it what do you like? Where are you focused on? What are you doing?
Well, for the most part, I look at the performance. I want to see it kind of move smoothly because I'm working with the button inputs, and then that can get really weird if things start becoming unsynchronized. But I can't see all that well, and that's another consideration. So when it comes to Super HD, do I need 4K? The answer is just flat no. I don't need 4K.
Fair enough. I'm more of the visuals fidelity guy. Dude, I want to see the high def. I want to see the pores on the character's face. I want to see that teardrop come down the cheek or the sweat coming off their brow, right? Like, I want to see the high. I always go, dude, I'm always going for the visuals and the fidelity, and I skip the performance side. I'm past that point. I'm okay with 30. I know it's not for everybody, but I've been gaming at 30 frames per second for so long, dude. I just want to see what's prettier, right? I want to see the god rays come through in the scenery. I want to see the foliage that sway so nice, and like I want to see the raindrops on the leaves. Like, you know what I mean? Like, this is where I kind of get all excited, man. Like, the graphics, show me the graphics, right? But that's my art side coming out of things, right? So that's always been my approach. Is I'm typically, if I do artwork, it is realistic looking. It is high graphical fidelity stuff, right? So for me, that tends to go that side when it comes to gaming as well. But I know for a lot of other people like yourself, dude, they want that silky smooth performance, right? They want to be able to glide through the game and not have to worry about input lag or just a delay in something or a hiccup here, or especially when it comes to first person shooters. I get it. Hellblade 2 different focus though, right? Hellblade 2 is much more of a visual experience with a heavy emphasis on story surrounding, right? They pulls in a lot to the sound quality of the game, and they have a huge focus on that experience as well. They definitely recommend playing the first one with headphones, and I guarantee you, dude, they're no different here. They want you to have that. Dude, they play with your mind, right? Like,
well, for something that is so much more thoughtful, like a Hellblade, it does make a lot of sense to have that fidelity.
Sure.
When I'm thinking of performance versus fidelity, I'm thinking of something like Dark Souls, where I want to see the animations in there perfect, as accurately as possible, so I know what's coming at me. But
sure,
at the same time, the monsters and everything like that, you're gonna want to see that in as impressive vision as possible, and that's what Hellblade is going to be full of. So this is really, as unfortunate as it is, a lot of people are going to be upset by 30 frames per second. This is one of the games that could justify that.
I do like that Ninja Theory has been right up front about it all, though, right? Like, that's the thing, is they've been saying, hey, like, we're going for the visual side. So know that this is where we're going to be heading, and don't get so surprised that it's not going to hit 60. I don't know, man. We'll see if the game comes out. It's not that far away, man. Next month.